It's early on Sunday morning, and there is a really big selection of Massey-Harris tractors out here, which is really nice, because it's hard to keep track of just how many Massey-Harris models they rolled out in a very short time. This is actually a pretty rare one, the 44.6. The 44 was typically a 4-cylinder machine, but for, I forget if it's 1 year or two, you could get one with a 6-cylinder engine in it, and that was marked the 44.6. The Challenger is the earliest tractor they did with the Wallis frame under it, from when they acquired Wallis. And they did that, their series of horse-named tractors, the Colt, the Mustang, and the Pony. But the 22 here is the same as the Colt, basically, but they were produced at roughly the same time. An Army painted one. I think the I-162 was an Army only issue unit, but could be wrong about that. And then the 30 and the 33. Massey-Harris did attempt to have a naming scheme, so the 33 replaced the 30, and then the 333 was supposed to replace the 33. But that's 50, 54, and 56 for the 33 to the 333. And then they started to add pretty cool flourishes. For a while, I think you could get any of your Massey-Harris with this gold engine in it, but I don't know what years they did that. Massey-Harris did all kinds of stuff, and they just sort of slapped tractors together in some cases, but it resulted in a lot of interesting stuff. This diesel option is kind of rare. Massey-Harris didn't do a lot of diesel tractors, in part because they, like a lot of other companies, they were kind of buying engines in, and finding a diesel they wanted to buy in was a bit of a challenge. But some of these tractors have the twin power logo on them, and one of the things about Massey-Harris that they were well known for was their twin power governor, and that was a governor setting that you could flip to get a little higher engine speed and a little tighter governor response for belt work. So there was a lot of people that if they did heavy belt work, they got their twin power governor on a Massey-Harris and really went for it. And they were considered great belt tractors for that reason. See, a few of these have 3-point hitches on them, and those are pretty rare because Massey-Harris, like all the other manufacturers that weren't Ford and Ferguson, had to kind of wait for the patents to expire before they could start putting them on. And of course Massey-Harris merged with Ferguson and became Massey-Ferguson, so they had access to the 3-point through that merger. and didn't actually put a lot of 3-points on to their tractors before they started being Massey-Fergusons. So, and like this pony has just the cultivator lift brackets on the back of it. Oh, and this Challenger has, is that a live PTO? No, that's the cultivator lift on the PTO. So that arm, or that square thing, would have an arm on it for cultivator lift, and then you hit the button to operate your lift, and you could set it for PTO, but the PTO had to run off to get the lift to operate. There, another Massey-Harris Wallis style. Wallis tractors had that boiler plate style bottom frame with the access holes in it, and then Massey-Harris bought Wallis up and made tractors like this for a bit, and then they started doing their own designs, or advancing on this a little bit. You can kind of see that curved dish design in a Massey-Harris frame after they abandoned the boilerplate style, but it's a good start for a tractor anyway, and they made quite a bunch of tractors. Oh, and this Farmall Regular has a cultivator lift on it too. Those are were an expensive option on tractors when they were putting them, when you were buying a tractor, and a lot of folks got rid of them, especially because like this cultivator lift is in place of a PTO option that you could get. So you had to remove it to do PTO work and then put it back on for your cultivators. So if you took the cultivators off and took the PTO, or took the lift off and tossed it out with the cultivators, it would go missing with the cultivators, and then people come and pick up tractors to restore, and the lift was lost with the cultivators, and the tractor is still around. Right, mechanical cultivator lift on a case. Got the PTO, and then the lever by those gloves trips that arm pin in there to lift, and that's how you get the cultivators up and down. This case actually has its cultivators on, and there's the link for the lift, and it raises and lowers the whole cultivator rig, and then you get a pair of control arms to set how deep they are. This Oliver 60 has its mechanical cultivator lift. It's nestled up under the operator platform here, and it's in place because you didn't have to remove it when you use the tractor for other stuff. But again, mechanical cultivator lifts pretty rare because they were an expensive option. And this tractor would have come out about when 3-points were and hydraulic lift was available, so mechanical cultivator lifts were a dying breed.